we interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you a live studio broadcast of Out the Box, coming to you from the West Louisville studios. We have myself, Westerfield Tolbert, with a mind of valor.
And you have Donald McKinney, aka Big Dick Cheney.
And this is Out the Box.
Out the motherfucking box. Let go, nigga. Let go. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling pretty well. How about yourself, Donald?
You know what? I am a little bit sleepy. Like I said, man, I had a great day at the gym, man. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm learning is like, okay, like what can I do to like get energy? And like what type of foods or like things like that can I do to get energy? And if I'm feeling like low energy,
I say water-rich foods. You want water-rich foods? Watermelon,
grapes,
honeydew,
oranges.
grapes. Oh yes, grapes, mangoes, bananas, apples, pineapple. Yes.
Yeah, I'll take all those things. I'll do all those things and incorporate them. Yeah.
You still finding yourself sleepy, even with all these nutritious, water-rich fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, actually. Oh yeah.
Well, then, my friend, you might need more sunlight. Sunlight is important.
I would agree. Anywho, today's episode is about, I just want to put that out there. But anyway, today's episode is about preparation meeting opportunity. I specifically love this topic because one of my close friends by the name of Demetrius, Rip, he always had it actually tatted on his chest and it said victory. He had victory on his chest. And I believe in order to be victorious, you have to understand certain processes, specifically preparations and opportunities, and being able that's going to lead you to be successful. But I think when you hear the word victory, it puts me in the mind of victory loves preparation. Victory loves preparation.
Victory does love preparation.
So let's talk about that.
Victory does love preparation. The particular topic of tonight's show, preparation meets opportunity. It comes to me in this moment that nothing that we do on purpose will be successful without proper planning, without vision, without strategy and structure, without the novel idea, the whisper that you must build the house or the scaffolding before you can climb up. I think that it's important that we know this as we enter this journey together. I'm working on a play right now. I'm directing a show, and at the recent conclusion of one of the rehearsals, one of my actors, he approached me and he's like, "Man, you really got to get this together, man. You gotta get this structure. You gotta get everything systematized. You can't just end the meetings on that note." And I was telling the particular actor, well, had you been paying attention, you would have heard me say that at the conclusion of our original rehearsal time, I said, let's just read out the rest of the time. And herein lies what comes to mind, that I receive the message of the actor that structure is important, and so is listening. And there we start our journey. Donald, tell me, we choose out the box topics on this show, but for our listeners, preparation meets opportunity may not be unorthodox, but tell us about your experience with it and where it comes up that you can reflect on in this moment.
Well, this has been one of the hardest things in my life. I would have to say, is, preparation. Specifically after I had children. I don't know why for me, but after I had children, I became one of the most unprepared people in the world because when you have children, it's almost like how do you prepare to be God in someone's eyes? So, it's like that would be, I'm saying, one of the hardest preparations that I had to go through. But specifically speaking to how I've used preparation and the opportunities that come from being prepared, um, was my dream job. I was able to bag my dream job. At that time, it was my dream job.
Your dream job. Tell us about this experience with your dream job. But before that, kids. It's ironic that you say that because I feel like kids force us to be way more organized and way more structured and way more disciplined. Granted, they consume much of that time, structure, and discipline. So I can understand you perhaps saying that when the kids came along, it your ultra focus went to them, and less care and consideration went to, I guess, structuring things in your life that were a priority before them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. And I think that that's one way that we should be preparing ourselves for death. Is always structuring ourselves and knowing how to continuously restructure ourselves, and not getting stagnant and forgetting that one day we're going to leave these physical bodies of ours. So we should never be complacent with staying stationary. We should always be preparing for that. But I think that we forget that, because of trauma and because of listening to other people tell us that we can't be what we want or, whatever the case and cause may be. But yeah, it's important for me to prepare myself every single day. I put on what is called the armor of God. I don't know if you're familiar with that, the blessed plate of righteousness, certain things like that, the belt of something else, and armor, of righteousness, and so on and so forth.
I remember hearing about this as a youth in my church, in Union Baptist Church in White Plains, New York, Greenburgh, New York. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Many moons ago. Shout out to Union Baptist Church.
Wow, that was a great place if they taught you about that. They taught you about the armor of God. They definitely taught you to prepare yourselves in the mornings and throughout life. You know what I'm saying, for the different type of strenuous situations that will come up in life.
They definitely did, with an emphasis on scripture, the word of God, the systems of God, kingdom, philosophy. I think that it was my early life, not just in the church, but in particular the church, that showed me that preparation and opportunity go hand in hand, similar to what you were speaking about. It is not the fear of death, but through Christ we are saved and our sins are forgiven. So the unpredictable end of life, or sometimes predictable end of life, assures us somewhere else that is better, that is prosperous in all things that we hold dear and valuable, right? Mm-hmm. So that on that level, there's a sense of preparation. And then there's the other side of this tangible life that we live that requires us to, on this level, I got a passport, right? So if an opportunity comes around, right now I'm like to go out of the country and it's easy to get a visa for whichever destination, I can make a move. I don't have to begin the process to get the passport to then try to emergency rush it to on and on and on, right? Same vein, like I might have emergency money stashed in an emergency account. So when the emergency happens, I know where to go to access that reserve and so on and so forth. But there's also another side of preparation, where it comes into building relationships, right? Creating authentic relationships with colleagues and friends and just a broad network of people so that, heck, I've been in experiences where I just happened to have a Metro card at the right time. Like, hey, we're going to this rooftop. You in? Swipe. You know, the next thing I know, we're on the rooftop in Lower Manhattan. But moments like that happen when you're prepared. And there's countless times where this will come up for you, for anyone. So the question then would be where to be prepared, how to be prepared, what categories, I guess, what spaces, what areas of a person's life do they need to be prepared in? Financially, education or training, right? Mobility,
Yeah.
credibility, so good word, good faith. Somebody better be able to call and vouch for you. That's an important aspect of it.
And I can't emphasize enough about in good familiar standings with your family. We don't really look at that enough. Like, if a person isn't in good familiar standings with their family, that probably leads to them not being a good person.
What if the family's not good people?
Are we saying anything different?
Oh, you're right. Apple don't fall far from the tree. True that. These things to consider. The type of background and associations of your relationships.
Well, if you're preparing to be successful, you might want to look at things like that.
Yeah, you got to be discerning in your relationships too. You got to trust your gut and your instinct. And that's also prepared. Like, you have to have confidence. You have to have a certain spiritual condition, a certain level of discernment. That's preparation too. So in instances of decision come up, you better be grounded in something. You better have some values. So when certain opportunities or certain what we perceive to be opportunities that we think we're prepared for pop up, we know this is not the opportunity I need. So no matter how prepared I am for it, this ain't it. This ain't for me. That's another level of discernment and intuition, but that comes with having good relationships, good mentors, a good family, someone praying for you, and good education, knowledge, certifications, whatever that looks like for you in your chosen space. Good health. Sometimes certain opportunities require you to be healthy and in a right state of mind. Being able to handle physical stress, emotional stress, right? These are things that we got to consider. Men, especially us. We got children out here. We maintain households. You got to be prepared. Damn near anything can happen on any day. I'd hate to get the call and not be prepared.
What you said, man. Not being prepared, man, when you, especially if you've already been prepared and you see the benefits of being prepared and you see people that are not prepared. It's almost like Noah's Ark. You know, God was telling people through Noah that they needed to, build boats, and their flood was coming. It hadn't rained in hundreds, so much time. And they didn't believe him. Well, Noah kept on preparing. Noah kept on chopping that wood. Kept on being obedient to God.
Splitting them logs. Rounding up them herd.
And when the raindrops start coming and they didn't stop, Noah was able to capitalize on the opportunity that God gave him by having a boat. So I say that to say this. Sometimes being prepared will help you in life or death situations. Do you want to have a life or do you want to have death? The choice is yours. You can prepare to fail or fail to prepare. Which one do you want to do?
Better to have an opportunity and be prepared than have an opportunity and not be prepared. The thing that I'm wrestling with right now is, when do we listen to ourselves to know what to prepare for? What to know, what to prepare for, and how long do we need to prepare?
Can I be honest with you?
Of course.
It's that intuition in your heart. It's that thing in your chest. That feeling that turns kind of like sideways. Like, ugh, I felt that. Like, wait a minute, that don't feel right.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to listen to that.
Indeed, we do got to learn how to listen to it and trust it. But sometimes in life, the preparation takes years. Takes decades in some instances for an opportunity that might only last a moment. But it's beautiful though, because along the way of preparation, we allow ourselves access to the compound gains of learning and muscle development and strengthening those familiar bonds, those connections, that muscle memory. Along the way, you're building upon every opportunity. And we spoke about this yesterday or on our previous episode. The idea that my memory just poof and disappeared. What did we speak about on yesterday's episode?
I have no idea.
No idea. No idea. You were there with me in the studio recording live, and you don't remember what we recorded on yesterday's episode?
I have no idea.
No idea. Not the faintest idea. Huh.
It's all my memory. I do a lot of drugs.
Indeed. Preparation. Opportunity. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Yes. There's a quote that I enjoy, and it says, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I think the quote is attributed to Bruce Lee, but it could be someone else. And it always appears to me that when we are listening to our intuition, that we can never go wrong. It is important that we are in a constant state of prayer, meditation, fasting, and self-reflection, so that the voice that we hear when we're making decisions, that conscience that we hold in high regard, is an authentic voice, our inner dialogue being one not that is just consumed with the influence of the outside world, but true to the heart, to the soul of a person. That intuition that lets you know that anything is possible. It's that imagination that never faded away from childhood, that if you only listened to it, if you only leaped, that intuition, that too will come to you and tell you to prepare It will tell you to look into certain things. It'll tell you to research certain things. It'll tell you to go to the library and pick up a book on the subject. It might take you down a rabbit hole. But that intuition will tell you to prepare for certain opportunities. You love fashion? Learn to sew. That's preparation. Learn pattern making. Learn how to cut. These things come together when the time is right, and it will serve you in your favor. And along the way, you're compounding gifts and skills and seeing the serendipitous opportunities and overlapping, weaving connections of webs of information, and you're making relationships that further will create more opportunities and further prepare you for what is to come. The future, oftentimes, is just a glimmer and something that is like a movie on the screen. You get a flash of an experience, and all you know is that you want to go there and create that experience. You want to live out what is seen in your dream. So you're on a mission and you're on a quest, right? You're pushing. You're pushing. So every day you're pushing. Every day you're preparing. Every day you're looking for an opportunity. Every day you're looking for the opportunity.
Well, the opportunity is always there to present itself, but is it the right opportunity? Because a lot of times we prepare ourselves for situations, and when we get to those situations, I think why we don't see the successes that we want is because you can prep yourself to get ready for a situation, but you might not, what's the word I'm looking for? Ever be prepared for fully what's going to happen,
right?
So you can prepare for
The
a house fire. Yeah, the unexpected as much as possible, but until it happens, you don't really know what to do, right?
Right.
I mean, because hey, you thought it was going to go this way, but then it totally goes a totally different way.
But
so your preparation, what happens when your preparation is null and void? What happens when you have prepared for a situation and it goes awry?
But that's why the majority of the preparation also is on oneself. And preparing the mind, giving the mind the structure and the integrity to make the difficult decisions when they arise. Most of our preparation is fortifying the mind, our mindsets, our frames of reference, our memories, reconciling our traumas, our ideas about life and why things are the way they are, and why people treat us the way they treat us. Having those things in a healthy place will guarantee that when the opportunity comes our way, we can even recognize it. Sometimes we're so ill prepared for an opportunity, we can't even recognize it. We don't even know the nomenclature, the language that people are speaking.
Well, I think that specifically that happens when you don't really know yourself. You know, like you have to be able to know yourself and understand fully that, hey, I am needing this, or this is how I'm needing to communicate to this person to be able to prepare myself and take, because a part of the process of preparing yourself might be, or preparations might come from being able to connect with a person that's going to give you the opportunity that you need for future engagements in your life and situation, right? But if you're not able to capitalize on it because you don't know who you are as a person, you know, like for instance, you can say that you want $1 million, right? But if you don't know how to prepare yourself to receive the $1 million, how are you gonna, you know? Let's say you get that $1 million, you're gonna totally squander it. That's why 70% of people that win the lottery, they go broke, because you can have money, but if you don't know what to do with money, you will give that money right back, you know? So preparing yourself to be wealthy, understanding, okay, what does it even look like to be wealthy? What does it look like to have money? Like, what does it truthfully to be wealthy.
What does that feel like? What is that? What can it be compared to?
So if you're not preparing yourself to be able to receive this type of energy, if you're not preparing yourself to be able to
So,
take advantage of, because you have to really change your mindset and, capitalize on situations in life that a lot of times you won't have control over, but you need to be know how to capitalize on it, right? For your better benefit to get to the opportunities that you want. But so constantly preparing yourself to be able to receive those opportunities, constantly preparing yourself to be able to take on those responsibilities.
and when they arise, you'll know fully that they are for you because
Well, even if they don't arrive, you have to go out and seek them as well. I mean, just being proactive and being able to go out and attack and grab what you want specifically, because opportunities arise, of course, but sometimes you have to go out there and you have to create the opportunity for yourself. And I think that being whole rounded, and that's a part of the preparation as well too, is being able to go out and make opportunities happen for yourself, and being able to sit back and be patient and wait on opportunities and chances to arise for yourself, because to be able to change your mindset and develop the skill set that you're going to need to be able to develop the opportunities for yourself, it comes through preparation. So consistently hitting this thing, consistently doing the same thing over and over, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses when it comes to, okay, what I need to be doing, who I need to be talking to, but specifically also understanding that you have to take initiative, so the possibility of you being successful comes out, in a positive limelight instead of a negative, and you're getting the desired outcome from, the work that you're putting in, aka preparation.
you're right. That is the preparation. That's the process. As you're moving and continuously moving forward, and you're learning and you're active, and you're getting your fitness together, you're getting your nutrition together, you are studying the sciences or whatever that it's relative to you, you are getting your relationships in check. This is all the preparation. This is all the incubating that takes place as you're coming in contact with opportunity. And just by being out there, you will be exposed to new spaces and new journeys. For example, I can't tell you how many times just being in a library, I saw a poster or a business card that then opened up a door for another interest of mine, or a club or a space that had led to a relationship, so on and so forth. But these branches of our story add value. They add
So much value.
so many lessons, and the lessons allow us to have better discernment for better decision making along the journey. So the preparation is always for the next level, and the opportunities are always growing. And there we are, because as we are excelling, so are the opportunities, and and the distance from where we began towards the dreams and our aspirations, it just shrinks. It starts to shrink. We're shrinking time.
Well, I think that our aspirations shouldn't shrink. I think that we have to be able to embrace the journey, and understand that as we go through the process of preparing to be great, through rigorous, and tried and tested, opportunities and chances, and really changing up the mindset to be able to proactively come out on top, with the situations and opportunities that are going to be provided from, creating the condition that we want to see at that time, specifically through, once again, proactivity.
Exactly. I would say it's self-explanatory, but the nuances of life require us to dissect and break down these ideas that come to our minds, that come to our hearts, They pull us out of the box and they help us to expose and reveal ourselves in a transparent way for the people listening. So we are literally learning and emoting as we bring you this live content. We're just trying to capture a piece of our space and time and our mindsets during this time in our history and take you along with us.
Most definitely, most definitely. Thanks for coming and joining us for another great, amazing show on Out the Box. This is Don Dada, aka Don Julio, no Fulio, always coolio, straight out the 50 deuce, representing. It's Derby time. Y'all go Justification.
Boy, Westerfield Tolbert, your man, Westerfield Tolbert is more appropriate. With a mind of valor, vision, ambition, leadership, organization, and resolve. We'll see you next time.
Peace.